Well, there's simply no denying that Daniel Espinosa's 2017 science fiction horror film Life is heavily inspired by Ridley Scott's Alien. And while this can't exactly be categorized as an insane fact about the 2017 movie, we assure you that in today's video, you're going to find plenty of mind-blowing facts about Life. For instance, did you know that Life was released on March 23, 2017, post being moved up from its previously announced release date of May 26th? So as to avoid competition with Joachim Rønning and Espen Sandberg's Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales? We're pretty sure that you didn't, but then again, this is just one of the many fascinating facts about the movie. So without further ado, let's take a look at 15 insanely interesting facts about this underrated sci-fi horror film that might actually end up surprising even the most devoted fans. Are you ready? Let's just jump right into the video then. But before we go into our explanation, we do have one very small request. If you enjoy our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Now let's begin.
Go, get out of here.
An evolutionary geneticist contributed to the design of Calvin to make sure it was believable from a scientific standpoint. The deadly multicellular alien organism that's believed to have exterminated all life on Mars before it was discovered and retrieved by a 6-member crew aboard the International Space Station was meticulously designed with input from evolutionary geneticist and astrobiologist Adam Rutherford to ensure its biology was scientifically plausible. You see, the goal was to create an organism that felt genuinely alien and also believable, rather than just a typical horror movie monster. Rutherford's contributions included the concept of Calvin's single cell acting as both a muscle and a brain, which explains its superhuman strength and ability to learn and evolve at a terrifying speed. In fact, Calvin's radial symmetry in its early stages was also a scientifically grounded idea, thereby suggesting a logical evolutionary path. This collaboration ensured that every one of Calvin's terrifying abilities, from its ability to survive in a vacuum to its insatiable need for sustenance, was rooted in a logical, albeit extraterrestrial, biological framework. The screenwriters behind Life are the same ones who wrote Deadpool, which also starred Ryan Reynolds. The screenwriting duo Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who also co-wrote the screenplay of the 2016 superhero film Deadpool, are the screenwriters behind the sci-fi horror Life. Both the films belong to completely different genres, and it's safe to admit that both the movies do share a rather distinctive style characteristic of the writers. While Deadpool is famous for breaking the fourth wall and poking fun at the superhero genre, Life, on the other hand, delivers quite a bleak and nihilistic ending that defies the typical heroic space horror film. Also, the fact that both flicks star Ryan Reynolds is no coincidence. The writers have already stated this before, that they crafted the dialogue keeping Reynolds' specific voice and comedic timing in mind. Rebecca Ferguson had initially turned down the role of Dr. Miranda North. Swedish actress Rebecca Ferguson, who plays the character of Dr. Miranda North in Life, had initially turned down the role. Truth be told, Rebecca was quite hesitant to take the part because she was concerned about being compared to Sigourney Weaver's iconic Ripley character from Scott's Alien, a movie that specifically featured a crew battling an extraterrestrial life form. It is a different thing, and later she was convinced by Daniel Espinosa to join the ensemble cast. Espinosa's philosophy and ideas for his film ultimately impressed Ferguson enough to change her mind and accept the part. The director deliberately killed off Ryan Reynolds' character early in the film. Director Daniel Espinosa and writers Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese have confirmed that the decision to kill off Ryan Reynolds' character, Rory Adams, early in the film was a direct homage to the structure of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Now, in case many of you don't know, this parallel is a classic cinematic technique known as the Hitchcock Gambit. You see, in Psycho, Hitchcock cast Hollywood star Janet Leigh as the main character for the first act. Her shocking and sudden death just 1/3 of the way into the film completely subverted audience expectations, which back in 1960 was quite a revolutionary move. This signaled to the audience that no one was safe and that the traditional rules of storytelling, where the hero survives until the end, just did not apply. Espinosa and his writers applied this exact same strategy to life. Reynolds wasn't just a major star in the movie. Him being cast in the movie led many to believe that his character would be the ultimate hero, one who would lead the crew to safety. So, by killing him off in a brutal and unexpected manner during the first act, the filmmakers immediately raised the stakes and created a palpable sense of dread and vulnerability for the remaining characters. It ensured that the viewers were on the edge of their seats, genuinely unsure of who would survive and who would be the final victim of the terrifying extraterrestrial predator. Many fans speculated that Life was a secret prequel to the Venom movie. This theory was built primarily because of three major things. Firstly, the screenplay of Life was written by Rønning and Reese, the same duo behind Deadpool. Given their involvement with Marvel-based properties, this immediately gave the theory a credible foundation for fans. Secondly, one of the trailers of Life showed a brief shot of the International Space Station rotating in orbit. This exact shot was later reused in the first trailer of Jon Watts' 2019 superhero film Spider-Man: Far From Home. While this was majorly an act of coincidence, fans took this as a sign that both the films were connected within a larger universe. Lastly, actor Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays the role of medical officer Dr. David Jordan in Life, was later cast as the villain Mysterio in Far From Home, leading fans to further speculate Jake's casting in a Marvel film as some kind of a pre-existing connection. And if all of these weren't enough, fans even went to extreme lengths to theorize that Life was a secret Venom prequel, or more like an R-rated origin story of the Venom symbiote, with Calvin being an early, more aggressive version. Two versions of the massive ISS sets were built simultaneously to create seamless scene transitions for Life. In order to achieve the seamless zero-gravity sequences in Life, the production team built two massive and identical International Space Station (ISS) sets. While one of the sets was a practical ISS interior, the other set was a huge gimbal capable of rotating 360 degrees to simulate zero gravity. The two sets worked together to create the weightless effect and seamless transitions. In fact, sets and props had to be carefully constructed with Velcro and other special attachments to simulate the feeling of weightlessness. The director has often described the 8-minute opening long take of his movie as the inverse version of Gravity. Espinosa deliberately crafted the film's 8-minute long opening take as a direct inverse version of Gravity. Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity famously begins with an even longer, fluid, and serene single take that glides effortlessly through the emptiness of outer space. The camera work emphasizes the sheer vastness of the universe and the profound sense of isolation felt by the astronauts, creating a feeling of awe and existential loneliness. Espinosa's approach in Life was to take that same long-take technique and use it to achieve the exact opposite effect. Instead of showing the beauty and scale of open space, his camera is confined entirely to the cramped and narrow corridors of the International Space Station. The camera and the actors move constantly, weaving in and out of tight spaces and further establishing a feeling of confinement, which was done solitarily to create an overt sense of claustrophobia and anxiety for the audience. The visual effects for Calvin's final forms were handled by a different visual effects company. It's a common practice in major film productions to use multiple visual effects companies, and Life was no exception. While the film's celebrated 8-minute opening long take was created by Industrial Light and Magic, the terrifying visual effects for Calvin's final adult form were handled by a different company known as Double Negative. Double Negative specializes in creating highly realistic and believable digital creatures. This division of labor allowed the filmmakers to leverage the specialized skills of each studio, ensuring that both the complex, continuous opening and the terrifying monster at the heart of the film were rendered to the highest possible standards. For the background score of Life, John Ekstrand was specifically asked to produce a score reminiscent of Bernard Herrmann's work. The late legendary composer Bernard Herrmann was famous for his revolutionary, atonal, and often jarring scores for films such as Vertigo and Psycho. The thing about Herrmann was that his music was not just a backdrop, it was more of a character in itself. one that was capable of creating tension and uneasiness. So, with the background score of Life, John Ekstrand particularly aimed to create an atonal horror score with some melodic elements so as to not give away the horror trappings early on. It's only fitting to admit that the Swedish composer paid direct homage to Herman's style with his musical score for Life. The actors were all suspended from wires, which were later digitally removed. In order to realistically emulate the lack of gravity in space, the filmmakers used a combination of wires and digital effects. While the massive rotating sets were built to give the actors a sense of a zero-gravity environment, the actors themselves were suspended by harnesses and wires. This allowed the actors to float, drift, and move through the confined spaces of the International Space Station in a way that mimicked actual weightlessness, making the film's claustrophobic atmosphere more believable and immersive. The wires were, of course, digitally erased in post-production. The International Space Station featured in the film is widely regarded as the most expensive man-made structure to have ever been built. Co-owned and managed by an international consortium of 5 space agencies, which represent 15 nations, the International Space Station is extensively considered to be the most expensive man-made object ever built, with a total cost estimated to be over $150 billion. The astronaut suits worn by the actors were actually very heavy. The suits might have given the appearance of being weightless, but in reality, they were extremely heavy, weighing in excess of 50 pounds, which is almost 23 kilograms. After all, we are looking at astronaut suits that were custom-made, rigid suits, complete with backpacks, helmets, and internal harnesses for the extensive wire work. Life is Hiroyuki Sanada's third space-related project. To everyone thinking if Life was Hiroyuki Sanada's first space-related movie, you are completely mistaken. Sanada had previously appeared in Danny Boyle's 2007 sci-fi psychological thriller Sunshine, and that's not all. The actor has also dealt with bizarre biological entities in the science fiction horror drama TV series Helix. Life was released on March 23, 2017 in most countries. Well, March 23rd happens to be the birthday of director Daniel Espinosa, so no wonder he had his film released on his birthday in most countries. Marvelous verdict. Well, that's all for today, and with this we finally come to the end of our video here. So did any of these bits of Life trivia catch you off guard? Moreover, who here has seen this 2017 movie? Don't hesitate to hit us with your thoughts in the comments section. Also, stay tuned with us, as we promise to come back with more exciting content. Till then, goodbye, and have a nice one.